Welcome, everybody. Sorry I missed you yesterday, but I'm happy to be here. Early in the week, we did a stream looking at a couple of starter dungeons. One was Tomb of the Skeleton King, and the other was the Matt Colville Delian Tomb adventure. And I'd mentioned during that stream that I think I recalled watching the video because there's no so the Delian Tomb, Matt Colville's Delian Tomb thing. There is no set version of it. He goes through the process in which he creates the adventure, and he puts a map in the show description, and he goes through it, but he doesn't formally write it out. So some folks have taken it upon themselves to do that, and I'd found one, I think, in DM Binder. There's one in DM's Guild. There are probably other ones out there, and I know some folks. I think friend of the channel, Ian. Hey, Gashrin. Friend of the channel, Ian, had done a version of the Delian Tomb. So I went back after that stream and watched the original video. And what struck me was I think the idea maybe has gotten, I don't want to say it's gotten lost, but I think a lot of people have taken the Delian Tomb and run with it. And it's a fine starter thing. In fact, I remember as I was reading through it, thinking like, oh, what would I want to change? What would I want to do? So on and so forth. The thing though is the idea wasn't so much to take his Delian Tomb and use it for your game, though of course you can, and he put the assets out there to do that, and nothing wrong with that. But really, what he was trying to demonstrate in a way is that it's not really difficult. He wanted to. It seems like to me anyway, if I'm reading him correctly, that he was trying to show that the barrier between you and getting some kind of gameable scenario to run an adventure, or run at least a session's worth of an adventure, is really not that much. And the Delian Tomb was his way of showing, hey, look, let's take a little bit of time to do it. And here you go. You have lay out some concepts and throw them together and put together some rooms. And you can do some calculations about how many rooms you think you want. I think he had 5. I think Delian Tomb had 5 rooms. Tomb of the Skeleton King, which was another kind of one page. It was a one page dungeon. Seems like about a session's worth, or a bit less maybe, but it was I think 7 rooms somewhere, and then kind of go with it. So what I thought today was kind of in the spirit of that, instead of looking and saying, well, let me make another version of the Delian Tomb, though I still might, because I thought there were some nice tweaks I could do, but let's just continue on with maybe the what, at least what I think the spirit of the video was, and try to create our own. It's not going to be the Delian Tomb, but our own thing, and starting from scratch, just starting with a few concepts, thinking about what we want out of this particular little adventure, and see if we can put it together. So we'll see how it goes. I'm on a random dungeon generator. I don't know if I'm going to use this. As usual, when I'm thinking of things at the last minute, I started thinking about, well, I need a little dungeon. Let me just see what kind of stuff does this get. I don't have a good. Should I go to Donjon? I just wanted something where I could kind of put together something small. Maybe we'll just use Dungeon Scrawl. Can I do that? All right, we'll use Dungeon Scrawl. Yeah, create a new map. Okay. I really just want. All right, good. Is this? Let me just see. Okay. All right, excellent. So we've got that. We can pull it out later. The other thing that I did, so maybe before we start actually drawing out the dungeon, is think about, and let me just take a swig of cold-ish water for the working man. Heat's gone down, by the way. It's not quite as hot as it has been, but it's not cool exactly, because I swear I put ice in this not that long ago, and it's all melted already. But it is what it is. All right. I think a good place to start is themes. And I guess there's sort of two sort of themes, 2 different kind of themes here. I guess maybe I'll call this meta themes. And in the meta themes, I'm thinking as what do we want this dungeon to showcase? Now, keeping in mind, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might need to wean that down. I think the one to keep in mind, the more of these themes we tend to put in this, the more complex things are going to be. Same thing with when we get into kind of maybe I'll call it fictional themes. Because we're trying to integrate a theme into our design, and here I have the themes that I'm thinking about. I was thinking about we're going to do kind of an OSR-ish sort of a starter, kind of old schoolish, at least in attitude, if not in system. The Hexian Crypt, maybe, Ian, maybe. What kind of things do I want to showcase? If I was going to make a a single quickie, take it to a game store and run it, and I want to kind of touch on what I think are maybe the high points of old school kind of play. What are the things that I want to touch on? And the ones that came to my mind, and I'm happy to take suggestions to amend these, or and some of them we may just have to because we have limited time and we gotta, we have to be a little bit brutal sometimes, perhaps with the eraser. Ones I have are exploration and interesting space. This would be, sort of the jacazing, right? The sort of jacazed kind of spacing. Ugh, if I could spell jacazed areas. Some kind of social element, could be factions, could be something else, but I think it is an important one, right? Because, and maybe just a faction. I want I want that element at least to be there, the opportunity to use something other than force, and and potentially not sneaking. Or if sneaking would be kind of part of the exploration part, force obviously would be part of combat, which is going to be there. We have antagonists; they're probably not going to want us to do whatever it is the party's doing. Someone's going to want to stop them, or they're competing, or they live there, or whatever. So that's fine. But I'd like to, if possible, have somebody they can talk to, and not in the tavern sense, but they're in the dungeon or they're in the wherever the area is, and maybe they can have an opportunity. And if we can work in an opportunity to think if they could get over with their wits, so to speak, or make a deal. Of course, we've got reaction rolls and things like that, but so maybe it doesn't need a specific thing. We don't need to mark a spot and say, here's where the social interaction will take place. But however, we're deciding what the factions are, or the antagonists, or the folk who are going to be in the space, an opportunity to talk to them. And and this is something that, like in the Tomb of the Skeleton King, because you're dealing with undead, that opportunity it doesn't exist. And that's maybe is where I'm looking at it. And Delian Tomb, it's kind of limited also, simply because it seems like the way the thing is set up, the goblins are opposing you. And maybe in some games, some people ran the Delian Tomb, and some people managed to talk their way to the daughter, and to the captive, and get her out. I don't know. It feels like they're fairly set against, and it seems like it's really more of, no, they're just going to attack you kind of thing. Hey, heroes in homebrew. So I want to kind of keep that in mind, right? So if we fill this place with undead, then there's no socializing going on. If all the enemies are essentially diametrically opposed to what we're trying to do, there's going to be less opportunity for that. Other than and some kind of combat happens, somebody surrenders, or there might be the odd choice. But I want to try to have more if I can. Some kind of trap. I don't even care if it's really. It could be a trap that's already sprung. It could be whatever, but something there, because that is an element of kind of dungeons. I like something hidden. That was one thing that was maybe my favorite bit of the Delian Tomb, was the fact that you could fulfill the mission, but if you spent that extra time searching, you potentially will unlock kind of that other treasure. I liked it. It wasn't in Tomb of the Skeleton King. You had to find something hidden to proceed, which could be problematic. I presume that they'll get enough information and understand that something's missing, and so go searching around for it. But that secret was one where you had to find it. Whereas in Delian Tomb, it was like extra. You could totally go grab rescue the captive and leave it, and never get into the kind of the innards, or the inner sanctum of the tomb, so to speak. But I like that. And then of course we need some kind of antagonist. So these are kind of the meta things I'd like to have. I'm open. I don't know how much we'll reasonably get to, and I don't know if we'll be able to finish this entire thing. It kind of gets it's going to depend on how quickly we can kind of get a dungeon up and running. And then the next part would be, I guess we'd call it fictional themes. That right now, hold on a minute. Let's change the. Okay, yeah, something I did wrong. I think I nested a card inside a card, and I didn't mean to. Yeah, get rid of you. I don't need two of you. Now, fictional themes would be if there's anything we want to bring in the game, like we want to have orcs, or we want to have a gelatinous cube, or we want to have we want it to be a rescue, or do we want it to be more of a treasure delve, or do we want to be escaping the uh the dungeon, something like that. Those are the kind of things would be sort of the if there's anything kind of fictional in there. I don't know if I have anything hard and fast. I think that in terms of maybe we could put on start thinking of kind of the layout. I think that somewhere in that, 5 to 9 rooms is probably good place to start. I I I think I'm trying to make this kind of in that same vein as those other dungeons that we've been talking about, Delian Tomb, Tomb of the Skeleton King, and kind of other ones of the ilk. About a session, maybe less than a session. If this were something that you would, if you imagine the use case being, like I said, you go to a game store, and so maybe you have 2 hours or 3 hours, and you maybe doing a little character generation during that time, or whether you're doing a little bit of just session zero stuff. You may have to do some rules. You have to do some teaching, however that happens. So those things are going to get slow things down potentially. Of course, also depending on how the players take to it, might slow it down. So I think I'm not trying to stretch to be to say that this is the maximum amount we could possibly do. The optimal amount we could possibly do is 14 rooms. Let's have 14 rooms. I'd rather let's have less. That way, if they take a little bit longer, nobody's feeling rushed. If they end up finishing more quickly, that's probably great. Hopefully, they'll be enthused to keep going and do something else or whatever. But I think that's a good. I think that's a good. For me, I feel like that's good. Like I said, I'm willing to hear other ideas, but I feel like we end up in that 5 to 9 rooms, and not every room has to have a bunch of stuff in it. Not every room obviously has to have enemies in it. I think that's good. And in terms of the locale, I think I'm gonna go with the starter. The starter adventure that I'm working on I'm combining, right, hex crawling and dungeon delving, which may be a bad idea. I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll see. I guess it's really going to come on to that it's kind of a starter, maybe maybe not for a starter GM, but more for starter players. I think just keeping it to a single dungeon is probably good. I think if you're a new player or a new GM, just dealing with one set of variables and one set of mechanics. Not that I don't think the hex crawl travel mechanics are super complicated. But we'll think of this at most, if we were going to detail an area, they were talking within one hex. And I probably would say starting at the dungeon, I guess, would say. But we're not going to get, only any travel. I guess I say any outdoor travel is within one hex. But I'm thinking maybe you just end it. Hey, you're at the dungeon to do a job. You do the job, and then if you escape the dungeon, having done the job, you win essentially. And then you get back to town or whatnot. 5 9 rooms, single dungeon, any outdoor travels with a hex. Do we want to go kind of a fun house sort of dungeon, or do we want to do more of a, I don't know, quote unquote sensible dungeon? What are some good, I don't have my, the one thing is I don't have my, let me see if I can, what books I've got. I mean, obviously I've got books, but whoops. No, I wanted that. Well, let me scoot this over here. And let's see, I know I just had downloaded, because the other day downloaded some books from, let's see, where are we going? Oh, maybe we got some stuff PDF already. All right, I have Delian Tomb open from the other day. Oh, here we go, basic. Here we go. So we'll stick to more or less. We can look at monsters and whatnot. We could even roll some dice, I suppose, if we wanted to. I'm not concerned at this moment over what's you know OGL slash, or at this point, what Creative Commons. A lot of, I'm just looking for what are some kind of fun things. I think we get lots of goblins, we get lots of orcs. Is there anything kind of more fun? Some of the Beatles are kind of fun. John, George, Ringo, they're a blast. What do we got? We got fire beetles, oil beetles, tiger beetles. We probably need to figure out what exactly we're doing. Well, you know what? Hold on a second. Where are my dice? Okay. All right, I got some dice here. You know, just about every GM rat folk. What would the rat folk be doing? What do I need here first? We got rat folk. I need a D10. Is that a D10? Yes, it is. All right, we'll start with this D10. I don't know too much about rat. I mean, I know there's different kind of rat folk things. People seem to love rat folk. I don't have anything against rat folk or were rats. Are these just rat? Are these rat folk that they're just half rat, half human? Or are these kind of your were rat style? Let's see. I got 4 here on the scenarios. Destroying an ancient evil. All right. Well, that sounds good. So let's just write up. So we'll get another list here. The adventure. The sword and board supplement on the basic fantasy site. Okay. Well, we can take a look. I mean, why not? I don't know if I'll use them specifically or maybe we'll have to change them, but sword and board supplement. So I'm going to go to downloads. There's core rules, field guides, strongholds of sorcery, sword and board. Charts, pre-gens. Man, they got a lot of stuff. Remember, I'll throw the basic fantasy. It's got a lot of basic fantasy. Lots of free stuff. I'll post that in there for anyone who's interested. You can go there and check it out in the showcase section. In the showcase. What was that? Price is Right, right? When you go to the showcase. Old save stop, player's handbook, French. Gnomes, Soul Forged. Oh, there's a lot here. All right, I'm not gonna, let me see. I'm gonna search. I don't want to get too off track. I don't see swords and boards. Maybe you can find it and let me know. Oh, there it is. Sword and board. Okay, not plural. All right, downloading it now. Okay. A basic fantasy companion. Well, let's see what they got. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's not really the point. But new races, 6 maybe. Cambion. So those are kind of, they look like your kind of tiefling stuff. Page 41. 41. Okay, Ratmen. Well, this is a lot. All right, Ratmen. Armor class 14, hit dice 1, number of attacks 1, damage 1d6 plus poison. Was there anything interesting? Ratmen are humanoid rats, nearly man-sized in height. They walk on their hind legs and use their hands, as would a human. They are typically brown or black, though whites are seen. Okay, their eyes are deep red and reflect. Okay, we'll work with the Ratmen. That'll be our main antagonist. Hey, red caps. So I zoomed out. All right. So the goal here, our goal, should we choose to accept it, is destroy an ancient evil. Good enough. Our antagonists we'll go Ratman. Sold. And we'll have to add in a few other things. There are a couple. Now what Okay. So what is the ancient evil? Redcap says a hex press Delian Tomb used to have a main entrance room in the shape of a hex with a door on each side. I would go with it. I can go with it. All right, so I'm gonna say, so let's let's I feel some I feel some inspiration coming on. All right, so the ancient evil is a I'm gonna call it a plague stone. This strange rock, as the name implies, spreads plague. The rat men have smuggled the stone into a village, and its influence is sickening the villagers. The stone must be found and ritually cleansed in holy water to destroy its evil power. Okay. Obviously, this is all subject to change. Yeah. I mean, I feel like rats, plague, I'm not going to copy this. I don't know if I'll use all of this, but we'll just throw these ratmen stats so we can keep it here. Ratman. We'll just keep these. Dice one. I'm not really interested. Tax one. Yeah, it makes sense to me that they're spreading around plague. Whoops. Men, morale 8. XP value. Oh yeah, there's these ratters. So I just briefly looking through that. Ratters can have basically some rats. I don't know what the brute is or the sorcerer, but we have some different types. So we do have some. Now keep in mind this is a starter adventure, so I like the idea of the ratter, which is basically I want to almost call it more of a I don't know. It's like a Ratman druid. Kind of thing. I don't know if I'll use all these, but the idea that he's kind of some kind of bard almost maybe. I don't know, whatever you want to look at it, but he can control some number of rats, 4 to 16 giant rats, and they can summon more rats, and they have 2 hit dice. So we'll keep it like that. Just kind of remember. I guess I'll call them ratters for right now, just so I'll remember where I can read it in the source book, and then I can change it later. So we got our goal. I think this is a good goal. The ancient evil is a plague stone. This is a strange rock, as name implies, spreads. This strange rock's name implies spreads plague. Rat men have smuggled the stone into a village. I think that the maybe that this is how they procreate. Um, some number of I don't know. Let's see. 1 in 6 plague victims will become transmogrified into rat men. We'll call them ratlings. I don't like ratlings instead of death. Okay. So a little note here, right? We'll call this a little note. So now we have a reason for being, and this was something that it's not really. I wouldn't call it a weakness in the Delian Tomb because it's really not trying to be any of that. But I did feel that, and maybe part of what I felt was missing in the Delian Tomb was that there's there's no there's no talking to the goblins, right? Part of that thing is they're just opposed. They're doing something. It's not clear what kind of ritual they're performing. They're just kind of there doing stuff, and they got someone kidnapped. There's no idea, and there's no. They never. If anyone asks the question of, so why did they kidnap this girl? There's no answer to be found in the material. There's no it for the purposes of adventure. It doesn't matter. They've done it. They've done it because it seems like if you look at it and think about in outside of a singular adventure, if it were part of something greater, you'd wonder, like, well, why would they do that? Because if you kidnap that kid, all you're doing is essentially bringing destruction down on your head. Because the call is going to go out for adventurers to come by and destroy you. So if you don't have a game plan, like you're going to turn her into the Goblin Queen by doing this kind of ritual, a la what, like a reverse uh Shrek kind of deal sort of thing, or what do you got going on? Like there's no end game for those goblins other than the fact that they're going to get killed. They have they've asked for nothing. No demands have been made, not even wildly crazy ones. They just kind of done it. Something I appreciate is when there's a reasoning. Now, the one problem I'm going to have with the Ratlings here is that I don't know if they're going to fall into the thing of who you're going to talk to, right? If there's a way to diffuse this situation, or because I like the idea. So one thing yesterday. Oh, by the way, yesterday a deal today was Bat in the Attic, their fantasy sandbox uh, book was the deal today, and I've played in his game a couple times, and one of the things I liked in his game is you're running these scenarios, and his scenarios are we're playing at a con, so we're playing in one single session. But you never felt like you were just kind of marching to fight. And in fact, I talked about it after I played his first game. I thought the group I played in, we basically avoided combat as much as we could. There was one forced combat, and that was the one thing I didn't like, was when he forced the combat. He forced the combat. Essentially, it was like we didn't have to fight. We could try to talk our way through. Now, maybe we could make the Ratlings that maybe there's kind of a faction of Ratlings. Maybe we'll just have to do that. That there's some kind of that some of the Ratlings are kind of there, and maybe there's even some Ratlings who are against this plague idea, but they're overruled. So then maybe we can fit. Now keep in mind, this is a small right. I might be building too much out here. This is where we're gonna have to be really careful. You can end up building like a whole campaign around the Ratlings and the Plague Stone, which wouldn't be bad, but we're just trying to build a little adventure, right? It's a little adventure, a little adventure. Brian Smith says this will take place in a village. Then, if that's where the rock is, yeah, I think a village is fine. We can have some. I think it makes the little dungeon thing, because when I think about like a Delian Tomb or Tomb of the Skeleton King, or just these isolated tombs, we could have a structure in the village that you get to delve into. That maybe that's where the Ratlings are hiding out. Maybe the Ratlings have an inside person, and you got to find them. Let's see. Redcap says they've got an old magic item. Well, we'll throw it in the chat if the chat gives you enough space. Ryan says, so will this need a village and a dungeon? Well, maybe the dungeon will be in again, we're dungeon. Remember, we're only talking about, if we scroll up here, 5 to 9 rooms. So our dungeon could be the bottom of a church. It could be beneath a tavern. Actually, beneath a tavern might work really well. There could be, it doesn't, we don't have to be doing a dungeon like Keep on the Borderlands, Caves of Chaos thing. The dungeon could be in the village. So I think that's okay. if that's where our mind is taking us, then I think that's fine, actually. All right, Redcaps pinged me in Discord. Let's see. Oh, it's once per day. Where may cast. Hold on a minute. Let me. Yeah, visit site. Let me pull it up. Okay, once per day. This is from Redcaps. Thanks, Redcaps. Let's give this a read. Once per day, wearer may cast rot on any creature less or equal to their level. That creature begins to rot and will die in d6 turns. The caster, however, will lose one finger to rot. The lost finger cannot be recovered, and if all fingers are lost, oh, it's a ring. Oh, the ring of rot. All right, cool. Maybe we'll put that on. I like that. I like it. Maybe we'll have to figure out. That'd be cool because maybe the leader has that ring on, but he's got only one finger left or something. Here's what Homer says: beneath the tavern is a classic trope that always works well. Yeah, and it makes sense because I was thinking about, well, where might they put this rock? And there are a couple of options. It could be in the bottom of a well, or maybe it's in the one kind of tavern thing where everybody's going to get to drink, and so they've hidden the rock in amongst the barrels of ale, and the ale is getting poisoned in a sense. Oh, are you in Dungeon Scroll right now? No, I was looking for something to paint a quick dungeon. So it looks like, all right, so let's get our. So we got our locations, right? So let's put our locations. It's a small village, or maybe a small town. Small town. All right, and then. Whoops. Dungeon beneath the tavern inn, whatever. Our small dungeon. We could probably. Yeah, I was thinking. So I was thinking is that let's. Oh, okay. So Dungeon School. I have. Hold on. I know. Worldographer has. You can do kind of town. I've never actually used their town stuff. So we could take a look and see what we have here. So file, new city, town, village map. And I do not need hexes wide. Egads. 48 by 24. How about 24 by 12? Or maybe I'll just go, you know what? Let's just keep it that way. I can just not use the space. Yeah, blank map. Or I guess background. I will do background terrain. Okay. Brian says the rat man be trying to spread their poison ale too. Little mat man carrying kegs around, chucking them on caravans. That might be a little bit too much for the rat man. The ratlings, I don't know if they're what is this texture? Whoa. That's actually not a bad grass texture, all things considered. Redcap says if you want to avoid the tavern cliche, make it under the church. Yep, that's another one though. I was thinking they're gonna have to take it to the church because my idea is they gotta do some kind of holy water dunking and ritual. So they're gonna need to take it to the church. But yes, that was another idea, was the church. This is also gonna tend to have, catacombs, other underground stuff. All right, so let's see. I have never done this before. I really have. I don't do a lot of village, town, city mapping. What is large areas? Oh, no, that's not it. Am I looking at the right thing, or maybe is it features I should be looking at? Heroes of Homer says they're trying to promote the Rattling trying to promote their microbrewery IPA. They might have missed their moment. Are IPA still big? As a non-drinking person, I'm not in the loop But I know IPAs were huge, seems like for a long time. So we have a bunch of interiors, but I need exteriors. I really just want the towns. What's this? No, I don't need isometric. I need town stuff. Trees, no, no, no. Battleships. No, not isometric. Where are we? Where are we finding stuff? What is that? Other isometric place. No. I don't want any railroads. Don't need lobsters. Where the devil are just some buildings? Okay, here we go. Is this? No, not future. Here we go. Right? Okay. There we go. Fat sea ceramic. Hey, Mikey says the Ratmen are led by a ravenous goat man. What are the connections between the Ratmen and the goat men? I suppose. I suppose it could. I suppose there could be a goat man. I mean, I don't hate the goat men. A medieval academy? No, I don't need that much. Medieval apartments? No. Geez, medieval arena? No, I just want some small. I mean this to be a small place. Baker, armorer, baker again. What is this? I mean, I suppose I could just pick whatever I want, but does any one of these look like kind of taverny? Brewery. All right, well I don't brewery, brothel, chicken butcher. I like it. Cooper, exotic craftsman, a dump. Nice doctor. Where the heck is the inn or tavern? Or am I supposed to really just go with I think there's a search, right? Let me use the search. Got so many, all features. Okay, there we go. And let's look for, is there a tavern? There is. All right, so we've got this one. Let's go with this. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be way too big. Whiskey or scotch and rum is where the action is. I believe it. I don't even have a road going through the town yet, but we'll get that done. All right. There we go. So that's done. A few homes. Just want some small house thatched. Why do the homes seem bigger than that doesn't, that doth not compute. Are there anything smaller? Am I going to have to resize this? This is going to become its own. No house. I don't need a big house. I want small houses, or even just a grouping of small houses would be good. Okay, that still looks huge. Very fat. Yeah, it's too big. Uh, ugh. Do they have? Can I resize these? There's got to be a resize, right? I don't know what that means. Scale height independent. Oh, how about this? Override default scale, and let's go to 50. It is just weird. Am I the only one that finds that weird? I could be the only one, but I feel like yeah, I'm scaling it down. I'm scaling it down. I'll redraw a map. I just want to, and then I know we can probably move them. There we go. Let's do place freely, and so I'm just gonna put. I don't know. Let's see, and let's rotate these. No, maybe that's not right. What are these facing? We'll say that if maybe the road kind of comes through like this, we'll put some. put some row like that, and then we'll rotate these some 90. Oh, no, sorry, 180, I should say. And we'll put a well somewhere in here. Do I need 0? Something like that. And then I don't know what other buildings we've got. Church or temple would make sense if there is one. Medieval temple. So we're going to need that. There we go. That looks nice and large. Let's see. Let's rotate it. And then what other buildings do we have? Is there a fountain? I wanted to put a well. No well. Is there a fountain? No fountain. Is there water? Oops, water. Water. What's this? I wouldn't call it waterfront. All right, I don't want to get too because these are the things you get caught up in trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, and it just ends up slowing us down. I don't need it. I'm just gonna put in. We'll put in a road just to have it. It's gonna be huge, I think. Yeah, it is gonna be huge. Might as well texture it. I don't know. Whoops. I wanted to have something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Redcap says there's a great PC video game called Banished. It's old and it was a Middle Ages city builder. Apparently, there's a really good D&D one that I've wanted to pick up. That is all about that, but it's an old one. It's like one of like from the 90s or something. I want to kind of get it and check it out. All right, so we just have a rough idea of the town. The rat men will be putting their things. Oh, and what I was going to put is, and there'll be some kind of maybe a wall or something, but there's going to be. So I guess actually, I probably don't even need the map. The map's probably just going to be slowing me down. So what I think here is that small town, and then a deserted farmstead. And then if we look at kind of the scenario, right? So an isolated farmstead. All right, sorry, a family living in an isolated farmstead outside the village was felled by plague. The ratlings moved in and cleverly dug tunnels. Yeah, the Gold Box D&D series. Yeah, there's a ton in there. I remember playing them back. They were great fun. Though if it's kind of one of those I guess nostalgia things where you could start a bar fight in those games, and there'd be 100 different creatures in this bar fight, and it would start playing out the combat in rounds with each opponent moving individually. And so you'd be sitting here in this tavern, and just one creature going to do stuff, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for your turn to come up. Rune asks what this is at Ouija app.ouija.io is the name of the whiteboard. I'll post it into the chat. Oh. Okay. So we've got so the scenario is a family living in an isolated homestead outside the village was felled by plague. The ratlings moved in and cleverly dug a tunnel under the town wall into the cellar of the tavern. Here they hid plague stone among the barrels of ale. The stone has begun to, I don't know, what's the word? It's not a poison. What would be the word? It's I guess affect the drink, and through the drink, the townsfolk have begun to fall ill. Okay. So actually, I kind of like this because the thing is, I'm thinking, oh, corrupting. That's a good idea. Yep, corrupting. Thank you. Infusing. It's an infusion. Yes, corrupting. And through consuming drink, townsfolk are going to fall ill. Am I going to run this at Claricon? I have my other starter that I may run at Claricon. So we'll see. We shall see. Oh yeah, the King's Quest stuff. Oh, here's a homebrew mention: King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest. Yeah, how about a little? And look, they probably haven't aged very well, but Leisure Suit Larry I always got a kick out of that. Probably because I was a young adult, or no, I guess when the first ones came out, I was a teen. But there was some very funny stuff with the Leisure Suit Larry. But then again, I also really liked the Infocom games, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the what was it, the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. Okay, so we got our scenario. Family living in an isolated farmstead outside the village was felled by the plague. The ratlings moved in and cleverly dug a tunnel under the town into the cellar of the tavern. Here, they hid the plague stone among the barrels of ale. The stone has begun to corrupt the drink, and through consuming the drink, the townsfolk have begun to fall ill. The local priests of insert religious sect here has commissioned the party to investigate. Okay. Yeah, I would. So yeah. So I think if I were going to get those games, you can get them on. Because I was actually looking at them a couple of weeks ago, and I might just pick them up this weekend. I would recommend getting them on Good Old Games because you actually get. I think it's just a little bit cleaner than Steam in terms of because you can unlock the keys. I think. Anyway, I think Good Old Games. I just think tends to be better than Steam for stuff. I don't know. I'm still kind of wary sometimes of Steam and kind of how they kind of manage your library sort of thing. I think Good Old Games is a lot more of like it's yours, kind of thing. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. But yeah, they are all in good old games, and I believe the price is about the same. Those Steam is running. I think their summer sale started, so it's possible there's some crazy good deal on the game on Steam, and they have a whole collection that's got everything, and I kind of want that one. I want Hills Far. I want to. I may even maybe I'll even do if I ever get some time is to play some of those old things on the channel because they're just fun to me. Okay, so the scenario: a family living in an isolated farmstead outside the village was felled by the plague. The ratlings moved in and cleverly dug a tunnel under the town wall into the cellar of the tavern. Here they hid the plague stone among the barrels of ale. The stone has begun to corrupt the drink, and through consuming, I don't know, consuming them, whatever, the townsfolk have begun to fall ill. The local priest of wherever, but that's their local, has commissioned the party to investigate. I think that sounds pretty good. The right, nobody has made the connection. No, nobody in the village has yet connected the ale to the illness. However, the family who runs the tavern have become the most ill. Okay. Could it be the beer we're all drinking? I mean, that's the thing. Like almost everybody's drinking it. I'm gonna say that maybe the priest is not drinking the beer, though. I don't think that that's true necessarily from what, but it might be like, huh, well, who's not? You know, kind of like it's because it's really gonna be who's not drinking it. The kids probably aren't drinking it, right? So the kids are still going to be healthy. I think there is some idea the proximity of the stone is going to work, right? It's working on it's ale, and it's also going to work on people who are around it. So even like it'll be interesting because if there's, let's say, the family of the tavern keeper has some kids, those kids will be getting ill. So it'll be interesting, like, why are the kids getting ill? It's going to be because it's all about that proximity to the plague stone. Um, oh yeah, the OG XCOM games were good too. As were like the Wasteland and some of those kind of OG post-apocalyptic games are great too. I know there's a new. I know they redid the Wasteland, but the original Wasteland was awesome. Okay, so we got our scenario. I think that's good. We've got our rattlings as our antagonist. If we need a little bit of a let's make our on our monster roster. We've got rattlings, the ratter, which would be kind of the, I don't know, advanced rattling. We've got giant rats. I'm gonna have some giant centipedes, and I'm gonna say that that other things, like I like the idea that this thing is rot, right? So what other creatures? Maybe some kind of ooze. We can throw an ooze in here. Some sort of ooze is coming in. It's like co-opting, but it's done corruptly. But I'm bummed. Yep. Corrupting is good. What did I put in there for the whoops? What did I put in here? I put in, oh yeah, I got corrupt. All right, so our monster roster right now. We don't do that, it's funny because I feel like this is already we might be scope creeping, but it's okay. So we got ratlings, we got the ratter, that's fine. We have giant rats, giant centipedes, maybe an ooze. Any other maybe is there one other thing if I wanted to put in like a what maybe if we were gonna pick one, what other thing might be something that's related to rot? What's another critter? Remember, this is kind of starter. I'm thinking, I'm not thinking mid to high level. What other critters are there that might be kind of rot related? Let me go back to the basic. What do we got in the what do we got in the monsters? Where's the monsters? Here we go. Um, a cheese ooze, maybe an ale ooze, a beer ooze. Oh, that could actually the beer ooze is kind of cool, and it works because that's where Ale ooze, a lose, a question mark in there. A big wheel of cheese that tries to see if this adventure was taking place. Where's that place where they do the thing where they roll the wheels of cheese down hills and stuff? I would totally, if that was what I was going for, I would totally put some kind of cheese mimic or something. Um, Okay, well, what do we got? Monsters. So we got acolytes, no. White apes, no. Bandits, no. Not for this. Bats. Bats are nice. I did want beetles. Would one of these beetles be? What does it say about these beetles? Booze. Oh, why didn't I think about that? That is yes. Yep. Booze. Hold it so we don't forget it. Yep. Definitely a booze. Let's see. Oil beetles, 3 foot long, sometimes burrow underground. When attacked, they will squirt an oily fluid. I don't think of beetles as being rot. I don't think. Berserkers, no. Boars, no. Bugbears, no. Great cats, no. Carrion crawlers. Oh, okay. Yeah. Carrion crawler. Yep. The barbarian try to drink the booze to death. Well, given that we don't tend to well, I guess it depends what system. I'm going to write this up as system agnostic. So I suppose there could be a barbarian. John says violent violet fungus. Is that in where would you find now I don't mind standing something up, but just in terms of rot grub. All right, so hold on a minute. I like the carrion crawler. I think I would want to put the carrion crawler in the homestead. Right. When they go if they go to investigate the homestead, carrion crawlers there in the because the ratlings I think have left. And it's gonna be like dirty and nasty in the because the ratlings are where have they gone? Maybe I'll have to put that somewhere else. Maybe they've snuck into town another way. Rot grub on the okay. Let me go back to basic fantasy. I'm gonna be quick. Gotta be quick. Gotta be quick. Would that be in the player's handbook? Where in basic fantasy would that be? Is there just one thing? Hold on a minute. Where's this the downloads page? I guess it's the core rules. I don't need the cover. I just need the PDF. Oh no. I don't want to I want to open it in my PDF reader. I don't want to open it in the browser. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's the player's handbook. All right, it's loading. I'm gonna say the rock grub is not in the player's handbook. The big book. There it is. That's a big book. All right. What do we have here? Spells. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I need. No. Yes. This is what I need. And I need. Well, they have some oozes in here too. Okay. Rot. Oh, look at that. That's not nice. That is not nice at all. This might be actually more than I need. All right, so I mean, just in terms of the amount of creatures. Rock grubs are 1 inch long vermin found in carrion, dung, and other such garbage. Their skin color is white or brown. When a living creature contacts an area infested with rock grubs, the grubs will attack if they can come in contact with the victim's skin. A rock grub secretes an anesthetic when it bites and will burrow into the flesh. Yummy. A burrowing grub can be noticed if the victim makes successful save versus death ray with wisdom bonus applied in order to notice a strange rippling beneath their skin. Otherwise, the victim does not notice the grubs. During the first 2 rounds, a burrowing rock grub can be killed by applying fire to the infested skin or by cutting open the infested skin with any slashing weapon. Either method deals 1d8 points of damage to the victim but kills the grub. After a second round, only cure disease. I like the rock grub. It's too much. It's just it's I'm assuming these are gonna be like first level characters, and if the only way to kill the rock grub is to do D8 damage or even D6, it's like you're gonna die. You're going to die. I think maybe I was going to look at there's a couple things. We have these were-rats. I don't know. Does BX have were-rats? Not that it matters so much. Oh, I don't know why I'm going down there when it's right here. Do we have? I like the idea of the carrying crawler, perhaps, though it is. It might be too strong. But it's maybe it'll be somewhere where they kind of don't have to go. I don't know. We'll see. Where's the were-rats? What are were-rats? I'm thinking maybe the were-rats. Oh, they're actually strong. 3 hit dice. Gashman says I could still use the rot grub as a hazard. Yeah, but you can't really. So he says spawnable from a distance, but you can't really because they're all burrowing in dung and muck. So I like it. I mean, the only way I could think I could use it is if I tone them down somewhat, because I like the idea that they're going to potentially go to investigate the farmhouse, and and there's all the, like, I feel like rats, like it's going to be full of garbage and refuse and whatever, right? And that there might be these grubs in there. But if I thought there was going to, and it'd be one of those things, I think, not that we can't do it. It would be one of those that if there was something there, like there was a treasure or something there, then maybe that would work. Because it would be like that. Well, you don't have to dig your hands in there, and maybe you see them wriggling around, but if you do, you got to kind of figure it out, kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to put them to the side for now because they're just strong. And if you have to do, like I said, you have to kind of, if you're dealing with a first level character and you have to do basically what could be lethal damage to save them, and given they're probably not going to have much healing, if any healing there, so that's tough. That's tough, but I do like it. And of course I can tone it down or do whatever. I'm curious is now with the were-rats. Here's were-rats, bites or weapon. Okay, what do they say about his? Were-rats are different from most lycanthropes. They're intelligent. Be common. Because I like the idea of the were-rat. They'll have to change the stats as kind of a halfway. Like maybe, oh man, maybe the, I got to write this down. So maybe the tavern keeper, we're just mentioning how the tavern keeper's family are in a kind of, maybe they're transforming, or maybe the father's transforming. All right, so let me make some notes. And so he's in this kind of halfway state. The tavern keeper is far enough into the would it be far enough into the plague? I don't know. I'll just call it plague state to begin transforming into a ratling. They have hidden this transformation by hiding their body under full garments with long sleeves and gloves. Okay. Well, remember, so this is, this is the fun of doing these, right? But we have to keep in mind, I'm just trying to remember our original mission. Basically, 1 session or less, 5 to 9 rooms, any outdoor travels within hex. So we got all kinds of great stuff. But we gotta make sure we're keeping within our design paradigm. Now it's funny because the Matt Colville video is edited and prepared, so his video is 14 minutes long, and that's not the amount of time he spent working on that dungeon. I wonder if that's maybe why folks, to the extent that they didn't maybe get that message and just would kind of just draw up their own Delian Tombs, is because maybe he makes it seem too quick and easy. Well, this video, certainly we're getting all the pangs of creation, the fun of coming up with stuff and then realizing, oh, maybe this is too much, so on and so forth. So we got a few things. I wondered. I know we're gonna have to. I know we have to change the how we get rid of the plague stone because I'm wondering who's going to communicate the information. Who's going to know about the plague stone to do that? I'm not sure. I want the party to be able to kind of fix it. Maybe they can just maybe it isn't impervious to damage like that. Maybe they just need to smash it. Just put it into like maybe the holy water. I don't know. I have to figure that out. You okay? So Redcap says it was a couple hours stream. Good. Well, it makes me feel less bad. I didn't realize it was a stream because he didn't in the video anyway. It doesn't seem like he's talking to anybody in there. So, but they might have just cut those things out. Yes, true. Well, we don't know. Well, Redcaps might have been on the stream, so there might have been suggestions of carnivorous cheese, which I like. Not for this scenario, but I do like it. All right, let's build a couple of them. Let's get some mapping here. I just want I just want to have some simple maps. So what we gotta have, we'll have the. I guess we'll treat these bigger squares as 10-foot squares, maybe. So we'll have the 2, 3. Seven by 7. I do that. And then, I don't know, something like that. I don't know how you combine rooms. What does this do? Oh, the rectangle tool, polygon tool, path tool. Well, you know what? Maybe I should make a polygon instead. How does that work? Oh, I see. No, that's not what I want. I want just, yeah, polygon. There we go. I do that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no. Oh no. All right, I got I don't know how to close these things off. All right, let's try this again. I wanted 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shoot. I gotta remember what I was doing. Okay, I was doing like this, this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's kind of the end of the room, but I want to have this little square out here. 7, 7, 7. Down here, down here, down. Oh, there we go. All right. So this is our bottom floor of the tavern. Does this have, I don't, what is it? What kind of shapes have we got? There's nothing here yet. Okay, images. Here we go. What have we got? An altar, covered pit. No, yep, double door. Like that. Door locked. Oh, I might need to, I don't know how to, not sure how to, if I can edit this. Well, we're going to go rough and ready. So I need some stairs. What's that? Rope? No. Spiral stairs. How much is some straight stairs? I like that. That'll work. Okay. Going up to kind of a second floor. Can I move this all? No. Okay. Oh, I see some. Oh, okay. It's got kind of the cool. All right. So bear with me. I've never used Dungeon Scroll before. So I am completely just looking. Okay. So that's be good for the lower floor. I'll need some. What is this? D upstairs, downstairs? Oh, perfect. Perfect. And then we're going to make our second room. which will be, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. We'll just make it the length. There we go. And then we get some barrels. I just saw barrels. Where were the barrels? All right, let's get those stairs. Those stairs are going down there. Right, is that? Yeah, that still works. No regrets. All right, so we come in here. This is the, and we can put some, I saw some rubble. We're going to need rubble. Oh, there is a way to search. There we go. Okay. Hey, RBG Grandma. All right, so we got some rubbling going on. I need another little passage thing here. So what I'm thinking, actually, maybe that's not what I want. So when well, let's see. How does this work? Oh, that's too big. How do I? Oh, I see. Roughness. Yeah, I want some roughness, and I want that width. Oh no, that's. Oh, I see. Well, how do I fix this guy? This tool. All right. I guess. Do I need another layer? See, the thing is, I'm not sure about is I don't want everything to be rough. Actually, it would be kind of here. I'm not sure how the best way to do this. And I really just want some. What other stairs were there? It's not even really stairs. I just want, yeah, something like that. Oh, that's perfect, actually. Just too big. Up and down, so we can turn this. No, okay. Well, it seems like you can do it. So I'll intuit what I've just discovered. Though I don't think I actually need this room. I think I could have just had. The only thing here is that's interesting is that we're using the blue, but the thing we're getting has a black background. I don't quite get that. But this is just a mock-up. I don't know if there's a way to, what's this? Pan tool. Is that just tools in general? What's this? Rectangle tool? Is there a way to select tool? I understand. I just want to delete it. No? Oh, I don't know how to get rid of it. Okay. That's fine. And then I think, oh, those are cool too. All right. And then let's see, we need some tables and chairs. Right. Yeah, just a couple of. Ye old common room, right? So we're just going to get a couple. Oh, I keep forgetting that there. So placement not final, of course. Something like that. So it seems like what you can do in this dungeon crawl is you can set a roughness. See, so you can it's not perfect, but you can kind of get some sort of caving going on. I don't know if we change these. It's not perfect, but you could do it that way if you wanted to. But yeah, it's not as good an analog as other things, but it's something. Do we have a counter just to see? Or how about a table? Do we have a table? Maybe without the chairs? Uh, Something like that. There's our tavern. This is where the rat men are coming in. Can I make some notes? Do we have? Okay, that's that. No, I don't care about lighting. What's this? No, I don't want texturing. There we go. Okay. Tavern. Level 1. No, 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 no. How do I move you? There we go. Tavern level 1. Tavern basement. So the rat men have kind of dug out to the Rattling Warren. So I'm gonna say that the Rattlings have kind of dug out an area. They started off. They started off in the in the in in the farmhouse, and then they dug out some areas, some things that that maybe there'd be some false tunnels that's trying to figure things out. And they get into they figure out how to get into the tavern. They do that, and they plant the maybe they plant the stone here, something like that. I export this. Type. Yeah, PNG is fine. Can I do Hi-Res? All right. I figured they weren't going to let me do that. That's fine. All right, let's see if I can drag this over here. I know, sometimes it does that where because it does let you drag in and do stuff, but then some stuff it doesn't. There you go. That was weird. Okay, so we got our tavern. Oh, so that's fine. And I'm going to redraw that myself. And I'll finalize kind of what I want. But I think in terms of, I think we get the idea. So now I need a new map. How do I do a new map? Okay, we've exported. That's fine. Create a new layer. I don't know how to add a new layer. All right, well, how do I make just a new one? Oh, I guess I got to go here. File, create new map. All right, now let's do some warrens. And let's do that. All right, so let's, let's just start. Yeah, this is gonna be. I'm just trying to make some kind of loose. There you go. And there'll be some see, I mean it's not perfectly. Room says they started a very ambitious Underdark map and quickly realized cave mapping is an absolute nightmare. Rather do 1,000,000 miles of overland. 1,000,000 miles of overland is not enough for you. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And then I'm just gonna make. Oops. You dumb Kopf. What are you doing? There we go. Okay. Now we can add some images, right? We need some stairs. I like these in particular. Can I zoom in here? I just wish that they were sized. Well, maybe actually let me maybe this one. Rotate this around. And this is just to indicate that it's going to that farmhouse. I don't really mean it that necessarily, and you're not gonna clip in the right. You're not gonna do that for me, are you? You're not gonna let me just line you up. Nope, you're not. Oh, come on. Is there like a non to stop clipping or just to let me free place it? Snap off. There we go. I know it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, good enough. There we go. And then the other one. Zoom it over here. Okay, and so this is. Do we have some? I don't know. Stalactites? No. Stalact. Oh, there we go. Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, let's throw some course. I mean, that probably wouldn't be here actually. Well, maybe there's a natural cave. I'll give it to him. I will allow it. All right. Give a little give a little give him a little allowance here for digging into finding it thing. All right, so this is the Rattling Warren. To the tavern. And we can, extend this off. This doesn't mean that the tavern is right here and the homestead's right here, but we can put like a hey, if you follow this for however long, then you'll get there. And this one, that one is to the farmstead. To the farmstead. All right. Now we can export. Rounds PNG. That's fine. That's fine. And there we go. All right. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we'll do the farmstead. Right. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if this counts as, I wonder if it counts as a room. So let's do one more MIP. Is there a library? Oh, it'd be cool if they had some. I mean, maybe they do some kind of community maps. How did I? How did I do this before? No. Let's see. Where did I find the? Where was that? Oh, it's here. Layers. Okay. Yep. There we go. Now we're just going to draw. I think this will just be easy. It's going to be, so really I just want there to be really just a one room. Bed. There like a fire? Is there anything with fire? Fireplace. Probably could go back to snapping and it would make that a little bit easier. Yeah, I mean, yeah, here's what says. Yeah, there's going to be two things. There's going to be this here, and yeah, there's going to be an outbuilding, which is going to be. And I'll just redraw this to put this outside. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Should probably make a door too. Maybe like probably pretty small. Whatever. And then I need a door. I need a couple of doors. I'll snap on again just to make this a bit easier. Oops, no, not that. Door, another double door. And maybe there's a, I don't even know. I think it's, I was going to say maybe there's a loft or something, but there's not. Yeah, let's see. Secret trapdoor, trapdoor. Let's put this. Put it in the corner like that. Is there like a garbage? Oh, is there? Oops. Is there garbage? No. So what did I find? There was rubble. Oh, it keeps getting me out of the search thing. Something like that. And then, oh, for good measure, we'll put some yuckamuck in the room. Okay. Video freeze froze. All right, let me see something here. Hide. Video freeze froze. Well, I haven't had any technical difficulties in the stretch. Let me see what's going on. I think okay. See if that brought it back. Oh, so this is the maybe they can fight a 10 hit point giant rat, but it's a hog or cow partly transformed. Oh, I like that. That might not a bad idea, but I just again I'll put a note in there, but it's gonna try to keep it in scope. Farmhouse. And then barn. Okay, good. I think I'm gonna be, I don't have to did I not? Barn. There we go. And this is the farmstead. All right, we'll put that up here. Okay, and now we can export this. Do it. Good. We come back here and all right. Okay. All right. So let's recap what we've got here. So we don't have everything set out, and I'm out of time. So I'll have to either work on this later. I like the idea of some kind of giant or maybe some kind of rat. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a rat chimeric creature. Again, it might be too much because remember, it's supposed to be a kind of a short. But we've got maybe we got. I think we got pretty good stuff, and I don't think I'll post. I'll see if I can output this as some kind of like a PDF or an image, and I'll drop it in if folks want to do their own versions of this as well. And then I will go through and kind of wrap it up. But what do we have? So our scenario is we just rolled up in the basic book, right? The scenario goal, which is to destroy an ancient evil. And in this case, the ancient evil is something called a plague stone. This is a strange rock, which as the name implies, it spreads plague. It's and I'm not really concerned at this level about the rat men and what is the relationship between the rat men and the plague stone. I don't know, but these rat men, ratlings have it, and they have now pushed it into a town or snuck it into a town, and they're making the town sick. And maybe the local cleric, I think somebody who maybe is least likely to be sick, who's obviously noticed everyone's sickening around them, implores the characters, maybe the characters from the town. Maybe there's a local lord involved. I think with this kind of scenario, you probably just start out like, hey, you've been hired to do this. Maybe you traveled into the town and you were pulled aside by the cleric and said, hey, do this thing, please. In any case, you got to figure it out. Our antagonists are these ratlings. We wanted about 5 to 9 rooms, kind of a single dungeon. We didn't get the single dungeon part, but that's fine. We are kind of keeping any outdoor travel to within 1 hex. But I like how it worked out. We have the tavern, which is the locus of the sickness. They snuck the plague stone into this basement. where it has been infecting, corrupting the ale. People are drinking the ale, getting sick. So we have the tavern to explore. This little tavern, this goes down in these rattling warrens, which have a couple of dead ends. I might jacate. We didn't get a chance to jacase this up. Maybe there'll be some other exits. You can try to think about, well, where else? Maybe some of these tail off into something else. Somewhere else, we've got the farmstead that's just a couple of single rooms. But if the party decides to go explore, who knows? The thing is what I like about this is there's going to be, we don't have really the faction. I don't think the ratlings are maybe going to be talking themselves, though maybe we might still end up with some ratlings that can talk, but the party's going to be able to interact with different folks in the village. This is really turning into kind of an investigation scenario where they're going to want to talk to folks. They'll maybe hear about the farmstead. If they go to the farmstead and check it out, there might be something in here, but then they should be able to find, if they root around in this, and these refuse piles could certainly have those rot grubs in there. I don't think I'll do it unless they're really toned down. That would be one way to get into the warrens. Another way would them to be to go through the tavern and realize that the tavern family are the ones that are the most ill. Maybe they bump around in there, either find the entrance or the stone itself, or both. And we got our monster roster, which is the ratlings, the kind of advanced ratlings, some giant rats, maybe some giant centipedes, maybe a booze ooze, maybe a carrion crawler, maybe, and some rat chimeric creatures, maybe. And here's our homebrew says, brings a whole new meaning to meet you in the tavern. Absolutely. I got to run. I will post this somewhere, but hopefully this demonstrated that, hey, you can just spend a little time, some thought, and just muck around some stuff, and you can end up with a scenario. And I'm pretty happy with the scenarios, but I will continue to work on it a bit. And like I said, I'll post the file somewhere, so if other folks want to work on it too, they can. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye now.